Hello friends, my name is Jess and welcome back to my channel, Books Past Bedtime. In today's video, we're going to be starting a new reading vlog, and this reading vlog is going to be part of a series that is going to be focusing on me reading my own TBR. Now, last year I did count up my own TBR and I wrapped them all. I don't know if you guys remember, I think I included it in my bookshelf reorganization video, and I also did a what's on my physical TBR video last year. I'm not going to do that this year because all of those books still wrapped up. They're still wrapped up on my bookshelf. I didn't open a single one last year. Had grand plans to do this video series last year, didn't get around to it. We're doing it this year. And no excuses, I'm doing one of these videos every single month, and if I don't read these books, I have to unhaul them. I have over 200 books on my physical TBR now, which is crazy. I do live in an apartment. This is unrealistic of me. I need to start reading through these. I did do a big cull, a big unhaul before I wrapped all my books up. So like, these are all books that I'm like interested in, and I did wrap the ones that I acquired last year as well now. So I have like 35 additional books wrapped now. So all the books from last year that I had wrapped total 140, and then I, like I said, added 35. So now I have a total of 175 wrapped physical TBR books. I have like 25-30 books that are unwrapped that I have set aside for other projects and things that are not going to be included in this video series. These books that are wrapped are all of the books on my physical TBR that I don't have other plans to read for other things. They're just books that I impulse bought basically because I thought they sounded good. And of course, this is my collection that I've built over probably 5 or 6 years, I would say. Most of these books were bought in 5 or 6 years. Some are gifted, some I've purchased with my own money, some have been gifts. Like a lot of them were like thrifted or bought at discount bookstores. So I didn't buy these all in 1 year, but it still is a problem. That's what this video series is. I don't have a name for it yet. We'll see what I come up with. I feel like everyone has come up with all the fun titles for video series like these, so I don't know. I'll keep you posted. But what we're gonna do now is pick the first 5 books for this challenge. So I did make a little spinner wheel. I will put that in a corner somewhere. The numbers 1 through 75 are on this wheel. We're gonna spin this wheel 5 times and get 5 books. I don't think I really have any rules for this other than I did like stupidly wrap books that are part of series and didn't denote what books are in the series. If I do unwrap a book that's in a series that I haven't read the previous book for, I am gonna put it back on my shelf and it will be back in the running to be spinner wheeled. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I do not know what is in any of the books. I did just wrap the last 35, so I have a better idea of what's in the last like 141 through 175, but I definitely have no fucking idea what numbers are associated with what books from when I wrapped those books last year. So this is gonna be an adventure. This is gonna be a fun time. Let me just shut the fuck up. Let's spin the spinner wheel. Spin number 1. Oh, 160. Okay, so that's a new book, a newer book. I am gonna roll all 5 right now and then we'll go find them and unwrap them. So that's the plan. First one, 160. Let's spin again. I really have no preference for like what I get. I don't know. There's so much like lit fic and thrillers in there because those are the books I don't reach for. So we'll see what we get. Oh, 136 is our next one. All right. Let's see what's next. 149. Getting a lot of high numbers. Getting a lot of high numbers. Oh. We can get a really low number. 22. All right, this is the last spin. $35. Okay, so we've got a range. 3 books are from prior to 2024 and 2 books are from 2024. So let's go grab those off my bookshelf and we can get to unwrapping. we're back. We've grabbed the books. Here they all are. Let's unwrap them. Initial impressions. I do think that this is a book of the month book just because of how large it is and or like how tall it is, and I can tell it's hardcover. There's nothing like too terribly big. This one is a little thick, but it's also a hardcover, so I'm thinking that it's probably YA, so hopefully it's not too bad. This one's little. This is another paperback and another like short hardback. I'm scared. Let's see what this one is first. Here we go. This is kind of fun though. It's kind of like Christmas. Oh, okay. This is a queer middle grade, I know. I think that it deals with a friend, like learning that a friend is non-binary. Should be really cute and really quick and easy to read. This is such a win. All right, number 35 is next. I can tell Gabby wrapped this one because it's falling apart. No way. I'm so excited. Okay, this is Paris Daillencourt is About to Crumble. This is the second book in Alexis Hall's like little contemporary romance series that's based off of the Great British Bake Off. And I think that we have two contestants falling in love, and it's an MLM romance, and it looks so cute. Oh my god, I'm so excited. What a good start to this series. Two books that are genuinely gonna be like quick and easy read. I kind of want to open them in number order. Next is 136. This is the biggest one, or like the one that feels the longest. So let's see what she is. Oh my gosh, another really good one. This one is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This is a historical sapphic romance set in 1954 during the Red Scare paranoia, and one of the girls in the romance is Chinese American. So this one is really good. I've wanted to read this one for so long. I'm glad that it finally came up and the universe wants me to read it as well. This is great. See, this is why I bought all these books, because I'm excited to read them. I'm so happy that I've unwrapped all of these. This is so thrilling. Oh, this one's gonna be good too. Right, this is The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Juanita Peters. This is a sapphic romance between two girls. I think one of them has recently immigrated to the US and the other befriends her, helps her settle in, and they have a little bit of a romance. And I think that they're also like interested in space or something. Yeah, it says it's futuristic and magical. Sounds really good. I'm excited about this one too. Oh my gosh, all queer books. This is really exciting for me because I do have a lot, like I said, of lit fic and thrillers that are hiding in these wrapped books. So I don't know how I've like gotten so lucky. All right, 160. This is the last one. Sorry, I'm like trying to remember that I need to unwrap it. This is gonna be another queer book. Oh my god, I'm excited. The Stars in Your Eyes by Case & Calendar. This is another queer romance, and I believe it's like an arranged romance between two leads in a new romantic film to create publicity buzz and also repair one of the star's image. I'm so excited. Oh my god. Right. This is our TBR. These are the 5 books we're going to be reading, and I definitely want to read all of these because I want to keep all of these. So that is the plan. We're going to definitely get to reading. I'm so excited about all of these. We have such a good mix of like sapphic, different gender identities, MLM romances. Like this couldn't have gone any better. I'm so excited for all of these. I don't know which one I'm going to start with, but once I start with one, I will be back and I will give you updates. Good morning. Last night before I went to sleep, I started my first book for this vlog. I decided to start with Spin With Me by Amy Polanski because I thought it would just be like a cute, fluffy read before I went to bed. And it was so far. I am like halfway through and it's really good so far. This is a middle grade story following these two kids. Our main character, Essie, is new in school. Her parents are kind of going through some things. They might be getting a divorce, and so Essie's dad takes this new job and Essie goes with him, and she starts as the new kid at this new school. She's in 7th grade. And one of the people that her dad works with at the university has this kid named Ollie, and Ollie uses they, them pronouns, and Essie meets them at school and starts to be their friend and then starts to develop a crush on them. And throughout the story so far, Essie is kind of learning about Ollie's gender and learning about who Ollie is as a person, and also kind of is questioning what this means for her and her own labels. So this is very much like a coming of age, first love kind of cute middle school story, but involving queer themes, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's written really well. I feel like I haven't read a ton of books that are set in this kind of age range, this like middle school age range. I feel like the middle grade I've read have been younger, and then like YA is like in high school. So I feel like this is a really interesting like age range and a really good age range for this kind of story to be happening, and I am really enjoying it so far. It's written really well. It's really cute. It's a fast, quick, easy read. I actually found the audiobook through my library as well, so I've been tandem reading it, and that has been really fun. The audiobook is great. This whole book though is written in kind of like a countdown style because Essie is only at this school for a semester, and so she's having to figure all of these things out like very quickly. And also there's this looming deadline of maybe I really like Ollie, but I can't figure out what this means for me, what this means for us, like in this short time frame. And where I am at halfway in the book, there's only like 10 days left until Essie is supposed to move back home. I'm actually like very anxious to find out what is going to happen next, and how everything is going to work itself out. I think that this is dealing really well with like family topics, friend topics, first crush topics, and like queer themes, and it's all being done very well. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm planning to finish it off today. It should be like a quick, easy read. So that is my plan. I'm actually gonna try and do kind of like a marathon for all of the books in this video over the next 2 days, because I have the next 2 days off from work, and it's snowy outside, so I don't really want to be driving all over the place. So I'm like, perfect time to get a bunch of reading in. So I might come back looking like this a lot. That is my rough plan, and I don't have a ton to do today. I have to go get my blood drawn, which is very exciting. But that's my only thing that I have to do today. So I will be doing a lot of reading, and I will update you once I have updates. I just finished Spin With Me, and it was really cute. I think I'm probably gonna settle on like a 3.5 or a 4-star rating. I did really enjoy it, but I feel like it's not a new favorite. And I think that's mostly because when I updated you the last time I was talking about this book being from Essie's POV, the second half of the book was basically the same book from Ollie's POV, and I don't always like when books do that. It just feels very repetitive. Although we weren't like playing back each scene from Ollie's POV like word for word, there was definitely a lot of repetition. It was interesting to see things from Ollie's point of view, but at the same time it didn't feel super necessary. So I think that that's kind of what detracted from my enjoyment of the book a bit, although I do think it was like really wonderfully written. I really liked these characters. This book was like so sweet. I enjoyed seeing their little youthful romance, and also the discussions about gender and sexuality felt like very age appropriate, and it was just like a good read for that purpose. I definitely think that this is a good read for all ages, like for the age group that it is targeted at, certainly, and also for like teenagers and adults. I think everyone could get something out of this book. I thought it was done really well. The author of this book in her bio does say that she's a middle school teacher, and she has 2 kiddos as well, one that lives under the trans umbrella. So I think that she brought a like knowledgeable perspective to this topic. Obviously not a lived non-binary experience, but like close associations, and you know what I mean. So I thought that overall, like, it was a really cute, really sweet read. I'm definitely going to keep it on my shelves. Not a new favorite, but I do think that it was a good way to start this vlog, and I did really enjoy it, and I'm glad I finally got to it. And I also found a cute little note in it, because it was from Manda from my birthday a while ago, so I always love... I think I put the note over here, actually. Always love rediscovering these notes when like everyone was sending each other books during COVID. So I'm glad that I finally got to this one. Thanks, Amanda. All right, it's like 8:30 right now, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I did bring both of these books over with me because I have the audio for both of these, and so I might start one of them before I go to sleep, but I'm not sure which one. I do think I will love this one, so I am like kind of leaning towards starting this one, but the audiobook for this one is super short, so I'm also kind of like interested in doing that just because it would be easy to knock out quickly. So I don't know, but I'm gonna start one of these probably before I go to sleep. That's the plan. I'll let you know what I get into and what I think of it probably tomorrow. Good night. Hello. So last night after I talked to you, I only read about 20 pages of The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Juanita Peters, but I did wake up pretty early this morning, and so I decided to get back into this, and I did end up reading like 150 pages. So I am halfway through this one at this point, and I'm really enjoying it. I am listening to the audio in tandem with reading it again. I don't know why. I just get in moods sometimes where it's easier for me to read like that. And I'm really glad I did though, because the audiobook is full cast, and so there are different narrators for each character in this book, and it does switch back and forth in perspectives between Mabel and Audrey, and so I really am enjoying the audiobook and hearing the different voices for the different characters. Audrey, she's from Trinidad, and her character is, both of the characters in this book have really strong voices, but Audrey's character is written in kind of like a Trinidad accent, and so it's really cool to hear the narrator do that accent. It really sounds like Audrey's voice is in my head. And the same with Mabel. Mabel is from Minneapolis in the US, and she has her very own like strong voice in this book. I don't know, the audiobook just is really well done. I would really recommend it. I'm having a really good time with it. This story is basically about these two young girls. They're both about 16. They're juniors in high school. Audrey's mother found her and another girl together being intimate, and her mother is very religious, and this brings a lot of shame on her mother, and so she sends Audrey to live with her father in America, who Audrey has met her father but doesn't really know him, hasn't spent a lot of time with him, and she's being sent away from her home. She feels very exiled. Luckily, the rest of her family is supportive of her. Her grandmother and her cousin, they both love her. Despite her sexuality, her mother just is not the best mother in this scenario, which is really sad, and Audrey definitely feels very like isolated and exiled, like I said, so like very difficult to read about that homophobia. But Audrey is like very strong, and she just does what she needs to do, and then when she gets to America, she meets Mabel, and Mabel is one of her father's friend's daughter, and so they kind of meet through that, but they actually really enjoy each other's company and like spending time together, and so they become pretty fast friends, and they're both like fairly enamored with each other. But then Mabel has been having some health problems, and she gets a really scary diagnosis, and that's kind of where I am in the story right now. We're kind of learning about Mabel's diagnosis and what that means, and Audrey is really scared because her like best and only friend in America is really ill, is really sick. She's freaking out, like trying to do everything she can to help her. So there's a lot going on in this story. We're dealing with a lot of things. We're dealing with like identity of two girls who are sapphic, coming of age and coming to understand each other and themselves. We're also dealing with this illness, and we're dealing with family issues. There's a lot going on in this book, but I feel like it's all being handled really well in a very like nuanced and beautiful way, and I'm really enjoying reading it. There's a lot of like Black culture involved, and a lot of really interesting like spirituality coming from Audrey's Trinidadian side. It just feels like a very like rich, well-written, beautiful, grounded story, and I just can't wait to see where it goes from here. There's some stuff on the back that hints at it being kind of like mythical, so I am interested to see if it begins to feel magical realism-ish, but right now it's grounded in reality for the most part. But it is really beautiful, and I'm so excited to see where it goes. I'm having a great time with it, and I should be able to finish it up tonight. So once I have finished it, I will let you know my final thoughts. Could potentially be a 5-star book depending on the ending and how it like affects me emotionally. I feel like if it makes me cry, it's usually a 5-star book, and I can see this one doing that to me, so I will keep you posted and let you know my final thoughts once I finish this one. Hello, I'm about to start prepping stuff for dinner, hence why I'm in the kitchen, but I wanted to check in with you guys first before it got too late and I didn't feel like filming. So I'm having a little wine tonight. Shh, don't tell anyone. I don't know why you would or why you would care, but so on the train into the city today, I did finish The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. I really enjoyed this book. I know I said in the last clip it could be a 5-star. I don't think it was quite a 5-star. Just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. I'm either gonna give it a 4 or 4.5. Like, I did think it was a really strong book, and it was a really just beautifully written, beautifully conveyed story about like family and grief and sapphic love and friendship. It was wonderful, and I really did enjoy how it ended. It did make me shed a tear or two. So it definitely was very touching and very moving, and I'm very glad I read it, and I'm glad to have it in my library. So yeah, another success. And also on the train, I did just start Paris Daillencourt is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall. This is a contemporary romance set on a Great British Bake Off-esque show. This is the second in a series, although they can be read as standalones as they follow completely different characters. Although I do hope the characters from the last book cameo, because I loved them. They were amazing. This book is following Paris, and Paris is honestly a hot mess. Like, he's so anxious, and it's making me anxious. Like, I really went into this book like, oh, I'm gonna love this. It's Alexis Hall. Paris is making me fucking anxious. Like, he is stressing me the fuck out. Everything he does, I'm like, oh god, I just am like cringing at it. And so I feel like that is going to be a bit difficult to read about. And some of the trigger warnings like warned that it's going to get worse. So hopefully I can get through it and it won't be too much for me. Although if you know nothing about me, I am also diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, take medication, go to therapy. I'm an anxious person, and so reading this narrative and being in Paris's head is a lot. Especially because he's like undiagnosed, not doing anything to take care of himself as of now. Whew. He's a lot for me. It's giving me anxiety. So hopefully he'll start to mellow out a bit, but it's definitely been interesting reading from his POV. And it's difficult for me to kind of just like get like invested and sink into the story for that reason. Although it is full of Alexis Hall's like great writing, very like witty, banter-filled, funny writing, and so I always really enjoy that. So hopefully Paris like mellows out a bit so I can keep reading the book. I almost kind of wish that we were getting the perspective of him and Tariq, the love interest. I feel like that would kind of balance it out instead of just being in Paris's head the whole time. So yeah, we'll see. I do think that this has kind of mixed ratings, and it's gotta be because of Paris. And he also does that thing where it's like he complains that he's gonna be terrible at something, but then he's amazing at it, which I know people find very annoying in real life and in fiction, but it is something that I understand because I feel that just like negative self-talk all the time, and I'm just like convinced things are gonna go bad and I'm gonna fuck something up. So like I understand it, but it's like equally annoying for me to read about because I recognize it as like an unhealthy, untrue thought pattern, you know? So I feel like that's where a lot of the complaints are probably coming from, is Paris as narrator. But I want to keep reading it. I want to keep giving it a shot. I'm literally only like 50, 60 pages in right now, so I will be back when I have more thought. Hopefully I won't have to DNF it. I know it kind of like sounds like that might be where I'm heading. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, so I'm gonna keep giving it another shot. I'm gonna at least get to 50% because I do love Alexis Hall as an author, and I have loved the previous book in this series. So fingers crossed it like gets better, and I just have to like keep reading it and Paris will like mellow out, and you know, I don't know. Here's hoping. I'll let you know. Hello. I'm in a hotel room in Houston. Today was pretty much uneventful. We just went from Newark to Houston. I am filming this relatively in real time, so if you'll remember earlier this week, Houston got hit with a snowstorm. The airport was closed yesterday on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Kind of a mess here. We weren't supposed to stay here. We were supposed to go to Dallas, but we ended up staying here because we misconnected to Dallas. So I've had the day to just chill out here in Houston for the most part. We got here like noon. It's like 3, 4 o'clock. I don't know. I ate lunch and took a nap. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about this book. I'm switching up on you. Started a different book on the flight today. I did start Stars in Your Eyes by Casey Callender. This is an adult romance, and it is between two actors who are in a movie together. One is like the bad boy and one is like Hollywood's golden child. They instantly like dislike each other. They're not getting on. They're not getting along. The bad boy, Logan, kind of giving the movie that they're in some bad press. So the like producer and director of the movie are like, y'all need to pretend to fake date we need to shape up your image. We need to create some buzz for this movie, create some interest for this movie. And so they end up fake dating. Maddie and Logan definitely have a lot of tension between them in the beginning, but as they get to know one another, they start to realize that there's like more to both of them and that they might actually kind of like each other. And there's also a lot of discussion of Logan in particular, like why he is the way he is. We've just started getting like hints that he has had a very traumatic upbringing. He was brought up in Hollywood, has some child star actor trauma, been really actually very difficult to read about. And that poor baby, like I don't know, I just want to give him a hug. But yeah, that's kind of what the story's about. I am definitely enjoying it so far. It took me a little bit to get into it. I don't know, there's just something about it that felt a little like off. Like it was a little like things were being overly explained and things were like a little too convenient, a little too on the nose. Like I didn't feel like as a reader I was being trusted enough to like interpret the characters' feelings and emotions and what was going on. I was like really being told what was happening and what everyone was feeling, and I was like, okay. So it was just a little like information overload. It was a little too much, and I felt like I was being kind of talked down to, treated as kind of like stupid as a reader, which I don't love, but I do feel like after the first like 100 pages, it started to hit its stride, and now I'm like really into the story, and I don't feel like that's happening quite as often. And I think what's kind of compounding that is there's a bit of like mixed media in this book. Like there are like interviews and blog posts and like YouTube video transcripts like talking about the movie and like acting like that's like celebrity gossip sites kind of thing, like talking about Maddie and Logan. And I feel like some of that stuff is like talking about their background too, instead of just letting it be shared like organically through the story. And so I felt like it was a little repetitive and a little bit too like telling me what was going on, if that makes sense. So I was a little like on the fence at the beginning, but I am into it now. I'm excited to see where their story goes. Their romance is starting to build for real. So I'm interested to learn about that. It's been a while. I've been reading a lot of traditionally published books this month, and I'm getting so sick of the third act breakup. And like 50 pages into this book, I'm like, oh god, the third act breakups are gonna be horrible in this book. So I'm kind of dreading that because I'm sure that's going to happen in the next 7,500 pages. And I really might have to do a KU palette cleanser after this. I don't know. I have so much shit I need to read, but Anyway, that's this book. I'm halfway through right now, if I didn't say. And I probably will try and knock it out tonight. Actually, with our modified schedule, I have like a 4.5 hour deadhead tomorrow. So I literally have 4.5 hours on a plane to just read if I want to. So I definitely, if I don't knock this out today, will knock it out tomorrow. I also would like to knock out Paris Daillencourt tonight, tomorrow. So that's the plan. I'll keep you updated. Sorry, I'm kind of like all over the place. Part of me like kind of wants to DNF Paris, but I'm gonna give it another shot. I'm gonna reach the 50% mark and like see if it's okay. So yeah, right now I'm gonna go to the gym and then I will get back into this, I think. So that's fine. I will talk to you later. Hello friends, I have a reading update for you. So since we last spoke, I did finish Stars in Your Eyes by Casey Callender, and I have gotten halfway through Paris Daillencourt is about to crumble. Can't talk. This book. I have so many mixed emotions about this book. I don't know if any of you are friends with me on Goodreads, but if you are, you probably saw my review. This book triggered the fuck out of me. It had a lot of like essay talking about past essay, which isn't as bad, but there was like an on-page essay scene in this book, and it was really difficult for me to read. And that's just is what it is. That's an experience I have across all media. Like I can't remember if this had, yeah, it does have a like trigger warning note in the beginning, and I guess I just like should take those things more seriously. I'm always like, oh, I'll be fine, I'm fine. Sometimes I'm not, and that's okay. And I think this book was a situation that like I just am not and probably will never be in a place in my life when I can handle reading something like this. And it's a shame because I do think that these topics are important. The character Logan in this story, I think I told you in the last clip, he was a child actor and he had a lot of trauma going on in his life that was invalidated, and that's kind of why he's turned into like Hollywood's bad boy. I feel like that's a conversation that needs a lot of like depth and nuance. I don't really think this book did that. This book felt quite like surface level and didn't really dive into those things. Like a lot of the healing that Logan does is off page, and the focus of this story is kind of this romance, and then there's this like weird time jump, and I just don't think that this was the avenue to explore those topics. I just don't think they were handled the best way they could be, and I don't know if I'm the person to really review this book. Like, I ended up, I think, giving it 3 stars on Goodreads, maybe like 2.5 in my reading spreadsheet, because I do think it's like not bad. Like, I found myself caring about the characters and like wanting them to be together and being like invested in the romance and in the story. Even though I was invested and I cared, I don't really think it was that good, which is sad. I do think that I will be getting rid of this book just because of the like negative emotions it kind of drug up in me. And I also don't think it was a great time to be reading this during this political climate, being triggered by that, being triggered by this. It was not a very good combination. And so I have been rereading Moth by Lily Mead in order to recover. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that, and it was lovely. I loved rereading it. So this book kind of sent me into a little bit of a mental tailspin, and I am trying not to let it like sour my experience of this whole video. So I'm just gonna take a deep breath and let it out, and we're gonna move on, okay? Paris though, I am enjoying. Like, I ended up liking this more than I was like kind of anticipating, and the last time I talked about it. I have gotten to the 50% mark. I do think I'm going to continue. I do think I'm going to finish. Yes, Paris is annoying, but he does have crippling anxiety, and it is difficult to read about, but it's not as it has gotten better. It has gotten less triggering for me, and I did honestly read some reviews, and it does seem like I will enjoy the direction that it goes in, and I have been enjoying the direction it's going in. It is like secondhand embarrassment all over the place. For the most part, like, I'm having more fun with it. I really enjoy Paris and Tariq, and I like their relationship, and I think they're kind of cute together, and I think they might balance each other out in some ways. Plus, I love the cooking channel aspect, cooking show aspect, and I just think it's fun. I think it's fun. And I do think that is something about Alexis Hall's books that are like this, these like fun campy books. They're not like super serious, so if I don't take them too seriously, I have a good time with them, and I think this is one of those as well. And I have been listening to the audiobook and reading along, and I don't know, it's just been good. I'm enjoying this one a lot, and so I'm excited to finish it up and see where it goes. I don't think this will be a 5-star, but I can see it being a 4-star or like a solid 3.5. Like, I think it's gonna be a good one. I don't know if I'm gonna love it. Hopefully, we're saving the best for last with the last Telegraph Club, that last night at the Telegraph Club. I can't imagine not giving that a 5-star, and I think that's why it's taken me so long to read it, because I've like built it up so high in my head. I'm afraid it's gonna let me down, but I don't think it will. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're saving the best for last. But yeah, I will finish this one and then give you an update and let you know how it went. Hello, let's talk about what I've been up to. So I did finish Paris Daillencourt is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall, and I actually ended up really liking this one. I'm glad I pushed through and ended up finishing it. I did think that it was really good, and I really ended up enjoying it. The beginning was a little rough to get used to being in Paris's head, and he is quite whiny. It is quite difficult to be in his head, but also it's his crippling anxiety, man. Like, it was hard for me because my brain is also like that, and so usually I'm reading to kind of escape that and so to be reading that was a little bit difficult, I'm not gonna lie, but as the book went on, I got more used to it, and also Paris got better. He worked on himself and he got better, so that was a really good to read, and kind of alleviated a little bit of that. So I did really end up enjoying this. I really love Alexis Hall's writing. I just think he is so fucking funny. Like, I think he's so fucking hilarious, and I enjoy immensely reading all of his books for the most part, and this one was no different. I really loved both Tariq and Paris, and I enjoyed their little relationship. It is kind of like happily for now, but I thought that that was very fitting with where Paris was in his life and like working on himself and things. And I felt like there were a lot of reviews that were like, these people are too fundamentally different, they would never be together, blah blah blah. But I feel like that's kind of the message at the end of the book. Like, they agree to just kind of like see where it goes and figure it out along the way, and it might not work out, but oh well if it doesn't. Like, they're not going to sacrifice seeing if it does work out, you know? I'm like, and I feel like also people are like really caught up on the sex thing because Tariq is Muslim, and so he does not want to have sex outside of marriage. This is kind of like a hard concept for Paris to grasp, but also it's not like Paris is like a super sexual person. Me as an asexual person, it's like, I mean, sure, sex is a deal breaker for some people, but Paris is allowed to decide it's not a deal breaker for him. Like, why is that so hard to believe that he would decide that it's not a deal breaker for him? you know, I don't know. Like, it's just, I didn't agree with or appreciate those reviews. So I just wanted to offer kind of a different perspective if you are reading those reviews and seeing this book, because I don't think that it was as extreme as people were making it out to be. I thought that they were two flawed people that were gonna have a go at having a relationship because they enjoyed each other's company and thought that they might want to see where it goes. Like, I don't think it was more serious than that, you know? And I don't know. Rant aside, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really sweet. I love the like big expectations TV show of it all. I think it is so fun. Honestly, the best part about this book is just hilarious. Also, Morag, Paris's roommate and friend, is fucking hilarious. She's so funny. I love her so much. I want a book about just her personally. I don't know though. She was such a good like comedic relief sidekick, and really cared about Paris a lot. And I really appreciated her. I thought she was great. So yeah, I really liked this book. I think I'm gonna probably settle on like a 4-star rating. It's not a new favorite, but it is something that I think deserves to be on my shelf and that I'm gonna keep because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. So yeah. And I also wanted to let you know that I have started the last book in this reading vlog, aptly titled Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This is a YA historical fiction book. It's also sapphic, and it follows these two girls who meet in school, Kathleen and Lily. It is set in the 1950s, I believe, in San Francisco, and it's like about the Red Scare kind of time period, like the very start of it. And it's also about queerness. So Kathleen and Lily are school friends, like they meet at school and become friends and then start to develop crushes on one another. And Lily is very much like discovering her sexuality. She kind of sees this advert for a drag king and is like very curious about this advert and like what it entails and what it would be like to see this performer. And Kathleen discovers this about Lily, and this is kind of where their connection starts because Kathleen has been to this club, has seen this drag king performer, has a friend who is a lesbian, and I believe Kathleen herself is a little bit more understanding of her own sexuality. And so she and Lily form this like connection, this bond, and this subsequent friendship. This is further complicated by the fact that Lily is Chinese. She's Chinese American. She lives in Chinatown. She like pretty much exclusively has Chinese friends and family, and people are starting to get looked at. People are starting to get threatened to be deported. Her own father has had his papers confiscated. So it's like a really scary time, and we're just kind of getting into the beginning of it. I am currently like 130 pages in or something. So yeah, I definitely am really enjoying this so far. It is written so amazingly. It's just a really good story so far. Like, it's just a really good story. The characters are so interesting. I'm already really invested in their lives. I'm already like getting emotional over them. I'm already like dreading what's going to happen to them and just hoping that everything works out for them in the end. Like, I think that this is just going to be a really, really, really solid book. That's why I wanted to save it for last. And I think it's also kind of why I've been putting it off, because I'm afraid that it wasn't going to live up to my expectations for it and like the hype that everyone has. I'm not that this book is like super hyped or super well known, but I do feel like in like queer circles it is a pretty like well known, well respected, highly reviewed book. So I do think that I was putting like some kind of pressure on it. Whenever a book like that comes up, I'm like, I don't know if I want to read it because everyone tells me I'm gonna love it, and what if I don't love it, you know? Like I mentioned, clinical anxiety. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I finally picked it up. I'm glad that this challenge has inspired me to pick it up and kind of like force my hand, because let's get real. When do I read if my hand's not being forced? What the fuck am I talking about? I've literally just filmed my reset today and it took so long, so I feel like I'm kind of delusional, honestly. Anyway, I really like this book. I'm gonna try and read some more of it tonight and finish it up and update you hopefully tomorrow at the end of this vlog, and we will go through final thought, what books I'm gonna keep, what books I'm gonna get rid of, and all of that fun stuff. So I'll keep you posted. Hello friends! I have finally finished my last book, so I am here to wrap this video up. I finished Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe, and I'm honestly glad I saved this one for last because it was the best. I love saving the best for last, so I was very happy that this one ended up being such a success. And I did go into it like thinking I was gonna love it. I don't know why I wouldn't have loved it. It is so beloved in this corner of the internet, so I figured I would like it, and I was not wrong. Everyone who has been saying this book is so beautiful and lovely and wonderful was not lying. They were telling the truth, and this was incredible. I ended up giving it 5 stars. It's probably going to be on my favorite books of the year list. This is the purpose of these videos, is to find these gems that I have on my shelves that I've been putting off, but they're new favorites, like they're 5-star favorites, and that is why I'm so glad we're doing this video series, because we found our very first success story. Honestly, a lot of these books in this video I liked, but this one, beautiful, wonderful, lovely, amazing. I loved Kath and Lily so much. I'm gonna think about them forever. Like, they are characters that are gonna stay with me. I loved their story and I loved this setting, and learning more about the Red Scare and how it affected the people of Chinatown in San Francisco. I found that portion of the story endlessly fascinating. I also really loved seeing Lily and Kath explore the drag scene, specifically like male impersonation. I feel like that's not something that is as mainstream or popular. Female impersonation or you know, drag queens, like drag kings. This is specifically because of the time period, male impersonation rather than drag kings. There is a difference, but I don't know. I just really appreciated seeing historically accurate drag. Like, I thought it was so interesting, and I loved that it was male impersonation revolved around women, lesbians, gender non-conforming people, like during this time period, finding community. I thought that was so fascinating and so interesting and so lovely. So yeah, I really loved this book. If you haven't read it, I would recommend it to everyone. I honestly think it's just like a good story at the core of it, and I think pretty much everyone could get something out of this, regardless of age group, regardless of gender, regardless of sexuality. Like, it was just a really, really good book. So definitely would recommend full 5 stars. And so that's the end of this reading vlog. These are the 5 books that we read together. Let's rank them and like just do a little quick overview. So I think my least favorite that I read in this vlog was definitely Stars in Your Eyes by Case and Calendar. I probably will not keep this one on my shelves just because of the bad experiences I had with it and it triggering me. Like, I just don't think it really belongs in my personal library, so I probably will be getting rid of this one. I do have a PANGO bookshelf if anyone is interested. Check that out. I'll probably list this one on there. I think I gave this one like 2.5 stars. I think I probably will drop it down to 2. I just don't really have very fond memories associated with this book. So least favorite, not a winner, but not a horrible book, just not for me. I think I would probably put Spin With Me by Amy Polanski next. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. It was a very cute middle grade with non-binary representation, a cute little friends to lovers romance going on. I just didn't love the repetitive nature of it, how we basically had the same story from 2 different POVs back to back. I thought it was kind of unnecessary, so I think there either could have been more to the story or it could have been shorter. I don't know, it just wasn't quite perfect for me. I do think I will keep this one in my library though, because I did definitely overall enjoy it. I would probably put Paris Daillencourt is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall next. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I definitely think that it has a lot more negative ratings than it deserves. Would say, although I did think it was a good romance and I thought that there was enough romance in it, that's a common complaint, is that it's more contemporary and more about Paris and his like mental health journey than it is the romance, which I would agree, although I think I would put them on equal footing. Like, I feel like the romance very much influenced by Paris and his mental health journey. I think they were very like interconnected things, and I saw a lot of myself in Paris, and I really, although his inner dialogue was difficult to deal with as somebody with anxiety, it was very realistic, painfully so, and it did get better like as you went through the story, and I enjoyed seeing his growth, and I really liked his relationship with Tariq, and I really enjoyed this book, so I gave it 4 stars. Definitely keeping this one in my personal library. I thought it was excellent. I think next I would probably put The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Winona Petrus. I really loved this story. I thought it was a really cool sapphic YA, little bit of magical realism sort of story. I thought it was beautifully written. I loved the friendship. I loved the themes. I loved the little romance, the found family aspect, the like coming of age aspect of it as well. I thought was really well done. I thought this was so beautifully written, and the characters had such strong, unique voices, and I just thought it was really well written, really beautiful. I loved it a lot. I think I gave this one 4 stars as well, but I do think I enjoyed this one a little bit more than Paris. And then, of course, the best book that I read in this vlog was Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. We just talked about this one. I loved it. Thought it was beautifully written. I loved the story. I loved how real it felt and all of the research, the historical setting. I thought it was just immaculately done, amazingly done, 5 stars, beautiful, wonderful, amazing. So that was my reading vlog. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to do my next installment, hopefully find another new favorite. It will be coming at the end of this month, so watch out for that. If you're interested, make sure you subscribe to my channel. One of these videos should be coming out every month approximately, so if you like that, subscribe. I also talk about pretty much exclusively queer books on this channel. If that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe. I would love to have you around. Like this video if you liked it, leave a comment down below. Also, if you're interested in any of these books, like I mentioned, I will have my PANGO bookshelf link down below, and I also will have affiliate links to these books in the description if you're interested. I earn a tiny commission if you purchase through these links, although no pressure to you, they're just there for your convenience. You can also follow me on all social media. I have those links in the description as well. And I think that's everything for me today. So thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you being here. I will see you in the next one. Bye.